Over a year ago, the government declined to guarantee our rights, despite the promises from both sides. And here we are today, on the eve of crucial negotiations. What do we want? I mean, I think we don't want anything special. We just want to continue with our lives under the protection of treaty rights, with lifetime guarantees, with all our rights unchanged. Is that what we want? This is why we're asking the British government and the European Union to agree that we retain our permanent residence rights with lifetime guarantees under the jurisdiction of the ECJ. And that's why also we oppose the proposal of the British government to strip us of our rights and subject us to the hostile environment of the Home Office under arbitrary UK immigration rules. So we say no to settled status. Without further ado, let me introduce you to Jane Golding. Jane is the chair of British in Europe, a coalition of 11 organizations of Brits living in the EU. And then Ronnie will do some comparing after that. Thank you very much for coming. I'll see you at the end.
Hi everybody, I'm here from Berlin today representing British in Europe. Yay! And we're here to talk about citizens' rights. The people have been living in uncertainty for over a year. What we want is the full bundle of rights that we have now as EU citizens. We're 4.2 million people who moved in good faith to other countries and with the legitimate expectation that our rights would be for life. And we're still waiting for a guarantee on that. We need that guarantee now so that we can carry on with our daily lives. And so tonight what we're asking you all to do is that we should all stand together and ask the UK and the EU to do the right thing and to end this uncertainty. Thanks very much and enjoy the evening.
Hello, my name is Comedian Grainne Maguire. Do we have any other EU immigrants here? Do you have any other Irish people? Yay! We're the adorable immigrants. Woo! It is my absolute pleasure to host this, a celebration of the contribution that EU citizens like myself, like my grandparents, like my parents made to this country. So are we ready for a fantastic evening? Okay, so we have got Barbara Hoofling here, and she is going to start the chanting that we're going to have. Do we have any fans of chanting in? Oh, we've had enough practice on marches, we're good at chanting. So are you ready to go?
Well, I hope so.
Let's go.
Hello, Trafalgar Square. You'll all have seen that we've got a motto. Yay! The motto is, this is our home, share the love. And to make it more memorable, we're going to sing it. Yay!
There's a lot of good singers out there, I can tell.
Yeah, of course there are. There's so many singers here. I can tell it from the way you look like that you're good singers. So I'm going to sing it to you, and please join in as far as you can. So this is the chant. It's like that. This is our home. Share the love. This is our home. Share the love. This is our home. Share the love. This is our home. This is our home. Okay, remember that I'll be back, and I just don't know it.
Well, now I feel big round of applause for Barbara! in your heart to our first speaker. Her name is Joan Pons Laughlin, and she is, she is an EU nurse and an activist.
Yeah.
And he will give you lots of love and lots of knowledge. If anyone needs your temperature taken, he'll be doing that as well afterwards. Can you give a big round of applause?
Hello? Yeah, it's working now. Thank you for coming here today. I know a lot of you came here to live in England in good faith. I came here 17 years ago because they invited me here because they were short of nurses. And they told me that I was able to come here to build my life and to fulfill my dream of being a nurse. And for 17 years, I've been happy and been able to do that. All that changed 15 months ago when I woke up and suddenly I was no longer good enough. According to Jeremy Hunt, I'm not a British nurse and I'm not the same value to her. Just one thing I'm going to tell Mr. Hunt. The NHS is surviving because people like me. 1 in 4 doctors are foreigners and 1 in 7 are from overseas. And it's 18,000 Europeans who are the pillar of the NHS. If we all go, the NHS will collapse. And what I want to say also to Mr. Hunt is after 7 years of pay cap and struggling to make ends meet, now I feel even more insulted when he tells me that I'm no longer good enough to be a British nurse. I may not have a British passport, but believe me, this is my country. I have also 3 children who are British, and I'm here today to fight not only for my future, to fight also for the future of my children. And let me be clear to Mr. May and Mr. Hunt, I'm here to stay, and I'm here to protect the NHS. But unfortunately, because the image in the uncertainty, a lot of my colleagues are leaving. And I'm afraid the winter is coming. And last year, we scrapped just to survive the NHS. And I'm afraid this winter, we will have another humanitarian crisis, like the Red Cross will say. And without the nurses from Europe, the care we will give, we will suffer. I'm struggling nowadays to be able to provide safe care because it's not enough staff on the wards. And I'm asking to put a stop to the uncertainty, to guarantee my rights and send a welcome sign to the rest of Europe. Because we need people like you to continue to contribute to the society and make the NHS the biggest and the best institution that is in this country. And now I'm going to pass the microphone to my colleague, to Valerie, who will continue the show.
Bueno. Hello everybody. Today was a great day, right? Today we came together, we organized our voices, and we lobbied. And when we feel doubt, and when we're in the middle of this process, when we don't feel wanted, I want you to look around and look at the power we have when we're organized, when we talk to our neighbors, when we talk to each other, and when we join a union. Okay? UNISON, which is who I work for, meaning I work for every worker of UNISON, including EU NHS workers, right, have paid for me to talk to you and talk to everybody that we need to get organized. Because our attacks are not only on the migrant rights, right, or our citizenship rights, social and political rights, they are also in the workplace. So we today, as organized Europeans, right, I'm also here with European papers. I ask you for us to continue being powerful and to think of hope and to think of how we organize can actually keep moving our voices and the demands for a fairer UK and for our linkages as workers across these borders. So when you feel doubt, when you feel that you're not being heard, then we gotta get collective and we get organized. So how many of you are in a union right now? Show me your hands. Right. So a lot of us need to think about joining unions, making sure that your labor rights are heard, making sure that you protect public services, and making sure we are politically active. So I thank you for being here today and representing me and my children, right, in our fight and our struggle for a better future and for our rights. But we are powerful. We crossed already borders, even if they weren't there, right? We moved from our families. We moved to a new country. We are great people, and now we just have to continue that path forward. So I'm with you, si se puede. That means yes, we can in Spanish, right? Si se puede, and we are going to continue pushing for our rights. So thank you. Si se puede, si se puede, si se puede, si se puede. Thank you. Give a round of applause. Si se puede. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Are you ready for our next speaker? She is Christina Makina, the UNISON Assistant General Secretary. Give her a big round of applause. Keep the round of applause going. She's working for your rights.
Hi there, so I'm Christina Makina, I'm Assistant General Secretary of Trade Union UNISON. Absolutely delighted to be here supporting this totally unreservedly. We've been campaigning since Brexit really to try and make sure that the rights of the workforce, the European Union workers in this country are fully protected. We're founder members of the Cabinet Coalition, which is bringing together the employers, trade unions and providers in the health and social care sector. And you heard the previous speaker just say how important European workers are to those sectors. There's almost 150,000 workers in this country who come from the European Union who provide essential services across the NHS and in the care sector, providing services to our most vulnerable in society. And if they weren't here, the NHS and the care sector system would collapse. And it's all very well people saying, well, you should train your own workforce, and that's absolutely true. But the fact is we don't have enough people trained to do the jobs that need to be done. And actually, how much more devalued our life would be if we didn't have people from across the European Union and indeed globally who want to come and work in this country and provide services to the citizens of this country. So I've just come up from the TC Congress in Brighton, where UNISON had a motion on the agenda which was calling for an absolute commitment from all the unions in that room to protect the rights of European workers. And it's not just European workers, because I know from talking to our members up and down the country that this is causing great uncertainty, insecurity, it's affecting morale of people who provide essential services who come from the European Union. But it's also affecting all the other people who come from outside the European Union. They're now beginning to think, is this really a country we want to come and work for? They're beginning to look at other European countries and say, that might provide more certainty. All of this is bad news for our country and bad news for our essential services. So I wanted to say what I understand was a great success this afternoon, that the lobby that you did in Parliament was really well attended. I want to thank everyone who's involved in organising that, and also particularly thank everyone who turned up to lobby their MP. Thank you to everyone who's come this evening in really uncertain weather. But this is too important to go unnoticed. This is a critical issue for our country, a critical issue for the trade union movement, to make sure that we're at the forefront of protecting workers' rights, no matter where they come from, and to stop the shameful treatment of this government and using them as a bargaining chip in the negotiations. So thank you, and good luck with the rest of the campaign.
Thank you, Christina. Do we have any French people here? Do we have any Italian people here? Do we have anybody who fancies French people? Do we have anybody who really fancies Italian people? Well, there's something here for you all. Can you please give a big round of applause from the Limbo Book of Brexit Testimonies, Elena Remegi and Veronique Martin.
Good evening. My name is Elena, and I'm here today to talk to you about a not-for-profit book of testimonies from EU citizens called In Limbo. The aim of this book is to give a voice to many EU citizens who, since the referendum, have been thrown into a state of great uncertainty about their future, have been reduced to bargaining capital, to commodities in the negotiation, and with no guarantees are still stuck in a painful limbo. In the month following the referendum, many EU citizens had started sharing their feelings of sadness, worry, anger, and even betrayal on Facebook. And I thought that if collected, such testimonies would make a much stronger voice. The purpose of this book is therefore to show the human side of the Brexit story. I would say the human cost of the Brexit story, which is so important, because we are not an indistinct mass of migrants. We are 3 million people with individual stories, different aspirations and backgrounds, and with an important common root, the European one. We are citizens who felt integrated, who chose this country because we had fallen in love with it. We had married and lived here even for 20, 30, 50 years and created with other British people new European families. We are this country's teachers, doctors, nurses, waiters, mothers, fathers and friends. And yet, without guarantees, we have been made to feel like unwelcome guests. So what is this limbo for us? And I would like to add in the group our fellow Brits living in the EU who are equally in limbo with us. It is the limbo of many stay-at-home parents or wives of British husbands, of carers, students, elderly and vulnerable people like Ellie, a Dutch widow of 76, people who wonder what's going to happen to them since they do not qualify for permanent residency. Some have not had a good night's sleep since the referendum. It is the limbo of many academics and scientists like Dr. Vershani, who found a cure for an illness, who have been refused permanent residency because the nature of their jobs keeps them out of the country for too many days. It is the limbo of a Spanish pharmacist. It is the limbo of a Spanish pharmacist who has been told, "When are they sending you home?" It is also the limbo of several people who have not left their testimony in the book for fear of being recognized or losing their jobs, but who are invisibly present with us all in the book. 15 months of uncertainty have proven to be an enormous burden for many of us. Many feel no longer safe or have fallen into depression. Many have already started to leave. Yes, this is a book about suffering, about an unnecessary suffering, but it is also a letter of love to a country we called home. And now we feel it is rejecting us, but even more, which is now at risk of losing what made it beautiful in our eyes, its tolerance, its openness, its multiculturalism. The great poet Dante, in the middle of his life, says, "I found myself in a dark forest, for I had lost my way." Like him, in times of darkness, we struggle to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But the inferno ends with the birth, and hence we came forth to re-behold the stars. This is my wish for us all. This is not the time for silence. We need to continue to speak out for what is morally right in the hope to re-behold the stars. Thank you. Hello everybody, and thank you so much for being here this evening. I am Véronique Martin. I am a French EU citizen in the UK, and I am Elena's co-editor of the book in London. This is it. And this is my story. I arrived here as a degree student in English with the very first Erasmus exchange in 1984. We were the guinea pigs of this amazing project that has since transformed the life of so many people and opened so many hearts and minds. We were aware at the time that we were starting something big and extraordinary, a Europe of people. I fell deeply in love with this country and with an English boy who has been my husband of 27 years, Mike. We go very well together, you know, the EU really works. In the past 30 years, I have acquired a PhD from a British university. I have worked, I have volunteered, made many friends, built a life totally integrated. I was not a migrant. I was an EU citizen in the EU. I was not a visitor. I was at home. I was not a stranger. I was part of the very fabric of my British community. Yet, the Home Office denies me and tens of thousands of EU citizens like me the right to permanent residency and therefore citizenship. Who indeed? Seeing how hostile the Home Office is to foreigners, and to us in particular since the referendum, I very well may become a second-class citizen or even illegal after Brexit. And what would that mean for me? Well, it means I may have to live my life for 30 years here, my world, my home, and worst of all, my beloved husband. The limbo that we've been forced into over the past 15 months is tearing us apart. It's destroying us and our deep love for this country blow by blow. Many of us already have left, and many more are seriously considering it. Because the EU is not a mere financial and commercial arrangement. It is a unique human project that has managed to bring old enemies together, that has encouraged them to get to know each other, work together, collaborate, feel at home in each other's countries, become friends, and even fall in love. We are the result of that experiment, and home for us is here. So imagine, how are we supposed to react when we are now told by so many to go back home? I gave my testimony to our powerful book of testimonies, and so did my husband. Please read it. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for your support. We need it, and we need you. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Miles and I'm speaking to you from the perspective of a British citizen in the UK. I am both 100% British and 100% European. As you have just heard, I am Veronique's husband, and we are a pure product of the EU, as we would never have met otherwise. As a couple, the EU has allowed us to stay together, to marry, to choose a country in which to build a life, and even to make plans to relocate to another country at some point in our future. However, after 27 years of marriage, we now find ourselves in a dark limbo, no longer being confident of being able to stay together. Just as the freedoms of EU citizens in the UK are currently under threat, my own rights as a British citizen are also in question. Could it be that my right to a stable family life was only temporary? Could it be that I might soon be stripped of my citizens' rights in 27 of the existing 28 EU countries? For me, Brexit that the only country I will still be allowed to live in will be the one country that my wife might be excluded from. This political scenario is not far-fetched. It is the reality already experienced by tens of thousands of Brits who have married non-EU citizens. So I ask myself this: how is our government hoping to foster new working relationships with nations both within Europe and around the world, if it continues to stamp on the development of personal relationships between Brits and the citizens of these countries. I do hope you agree to join me in demanding from our government the continuation and broadening of these rights, and to put as few obstacles as possible in the path of international love, marriage, families, and above all, friendship. Thank you very much.
Give them a big round of applause! Who knew it was going to get so romantic? Oh my God! Do we have any single British people here? Do we have any single Europeans here? You know what you need to do. Come on, guys. We want some more Nick Cleggs and William Gonzalez getting together. Are you ready for our next speaker? I don't know. Are you ready? He is the director of the European Alternative. Can you please give a big round of applause to Niccolo Milanese?
Thank you. I was born here in London, near Heathrow. My grandfather emigrated from Sicily in the 1950s after the devastation of the Second World War to Cardiff to work as a coal miner, to fuel the reconstruction of this country, to fuel the reconstruction of a continent. Years later, I was born here, and later still, I met my wife, who's French, here in London. Now, we live in Paris with our 2 young children. This family history is strong in my mind. And measuring my words, I want to say to you that taking away the rights of citizens is a despotic thing to do. It is not a democratic thing to do. Democracy is not the tyranny of the majority. Democracy is not an unaccountable decision of a minister who has acquired excessive powers under a Brexit bill. Democracy is not a decision of a technocrat. Democracy cannot disenfranchise people, or it is a fallacy of a democracy. So don't let anybody tell you that in order to respect the democracy of the referendum, certain people's rights need to be taken away. Such an act, if it were to come to pass, would likely be illegal under international law. I would anticipate many tens, perhaps many hundreds of legal challenges under international law. And perhaps then the government will learn they have the hubris to attempt it, that taking away people's rights is not so easy. And there's good reason for that, because citizens' rights are our protection against the government in certain instances. This is why it's important to stand up for them, to stand up for the rights of everybody. Because if some people's rights are attacked, then all of our citizenship is devalued. This is not just about the rights of 3 million people here. It's not just about the rights of UK people living in other EU countries. It's about everybody's citizenship rights. It's about the way we're governed. It's about the defences we have against government if it attempts to abuse its rights. And so I want to say to everybody here, we should have confidence in the rights that we already have. We should have confidence in the sacrifices of generations of people before who stood up for those rights and defended them. But we need to be ready to do our part to defend those rights against anybody who wants to take them away. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think we're getting a little bit cold again. I think it's time. Are we ready for a little bit more chanting? Woo! Any fans of chanting in? Are we ready? Let's go for it.
I'm always
Barbara's back. Let's do this.
Now, folks, before I'm going to check if you still know the chant, we're going to sing Ode to Joy at the end with everybody. So the plan is that entire Trafalgar Square is going to sing Ode to Joy. Yay, I would think that is a first. So, I know that there are all sorts of pricings on this square at the moment. Not only for 15 European choirs in London, but also I'm pretty sure there are several, I have no idea that they're here, but who do sing in choirs. Now, if you want a sheet, I've got lovely people here at the front who've got sheets for you. So come to the front, get your sheet so you can actually sing in harmony if you want, later for Ode to Joy. Now, before we do that, we're going to do our chant again. Remember? I sing it once more, you join in. It goes like that. This is our home. Share the love. You. This is our home. Share the love. This is our home. Share the love. Is our home. It's not bad, but actually it's not active enough. Come on, we're talking about our home and about Europe, which we are all really, really passionate about. So come on, hands in the air and go for it. And this is our home. Share the love. This is our home. Share the love. Oh, this is our home. Share the love. Thank you very much. I'm going to be back.
Railroads and Barbara! And guys, I have some really great news. You are through to the judges' houses! Yay! Guys, are we ready for our next speaker? Okay, who is... I've got, hang on a sec. Let me just double check. Sorry. Where am I? We are, very good. So this whole event has been organised by the 3 Million organisation. They lobby and do amazing work for EU migrants.